This is 12:39, so this is actually going to be part of my evening report. But I wanted to do this real quick report. Um, Wanted to show you what's happening over Africa. Um, this low pressure vortices, whatever you want to call it, has really begun to deepening since this morning. And if you look to see what's happening now, there is and I don't know if the word collapse is the right word. I think it's more of a compression, if that would make sense, of the air patterns, airflow, particularly up here in the northern jet stream, which at this time of the year has a tendency to be erratic and has a tendency to be weak. And in fact, I've actually read just recently that this was um, some meteorologists were looking at this as being a much more deeper than normal. So, very quickly, look at this. Wanted to get it on the record so everyone could see this. There's really something happening over here, people. There really is. I'll talk a little bit more in this evening's report about the fact of how little understanding there is on the subject of north-south mixing. It's highly controversial. Um, Dr. Beckwith is one of the few that have really taken a position on this. So we'll talk a little bit more about this in this evening's report. Well, you saw that from earlier today. It is 9:44 here in the Mountain West, and look what we have here. Now, I was asked earlier by one of the subscribers if I could do a side-by-side comparison of what a normal jet stream would look like and what we're seeing right now. Interesting. Spent 4 hours researching that, found very little data, to be very upfront with you. What I did find was some more explanation of what a typical type jet stream would look like. So as you can see here, um, the different layers, the further up you going, and of course then you get to the very top. Okay, that's fine. But when I began to look, what I found interesting was a lot of charts, a lot of graphs, but no real pictures. The data that we have now with this model that we're using right here is a combination of using multiple satellite data points, and they combine them into one model here. What I did find interesting was you could begin to see what the this is the intertropical convergence zone, how it should look in July for the northern hemisphere, and then obviously for their summer down in the southern hemisphere. Okay. Um, Here is a good explanation of what we are talking about and what we are seeing. So as you can see, northern branch coming down, following all the way through into the southern. This is what Dr. Paul Beckwith has been showing, which leads me to the next point. It seems that Dr. Beckwith seems to be the only person who is really studying this. And I actually found, and you'll see in one slide here, that this is really new. This, what we thought were defined patterns and boundaries for both north and south. And as you can see here, These are kind of what you would expect to see. It's just this. So let's continue. Again, kind of showing what a normal type jet stream pattern should be looking like. Again, these are all very familiar. I actually took these. So here's how it should be. Again, what they're noticing, as you can see here, how erratic, weak the northern jet stream is. And as I've been reading papers, it has been I don't know, mounting is a correct word, but a persistent pattern, particularly over the last 6-7 years. Again, there's Dr. Beckwith pointing out these anomalies. Again, here. I thought this one was interesting because it actually helps shows what we're dealing with. So you can actually see where the subtropical jet streams and where typically they are. And again, we're very familiar with. So here's a very interesting, as I began to find out the interaction of the subtropical jet streams is still, again, a new science. As you can actually read the questions here, which I thought were very interesting. So we know that we're seeing something very different. The experts are not clear with it. Most don't even want to broach the subject. And again, we owe a deep appreciation to Dr. Beckwith. So I spent most of the time on that. Won't spend much more time on this other than to show you that this is becoming, I think, from what I have been able to see, these are some very, very serious mixing of both north and south. It's undeniable. I challenge anyone to come out and you tell me that the north and the south jet streams are not intermixing, that they have completely breached the intertropic convergence zone, and that we're seeing not one, but we're seeing multiple incursions throughout the globe. I think that we're going to begin to see greater erratic weather patterns. I think we're going to see some very unusual weather. And we're all going to be able to write about it. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all tomorrow.